Very good evening and welcome to our latest edition of the Democratic Newsroom. As we speak, in the last 3 months, right before elections in Bihar, the Election Commission of India has undertaken what many deem a contentious electoral roll revision exercise. The matter now challenged in court, but there's fair amount of opinion. We've had a massive political battle over the ballot list, and there is political commentary, there is social commentary, there is a narrative which is being built, which needs to be discussed. And what best than to get our crack team of editors in the Democratic Newsroom to threadbare speak, discuss, debate with what is going on in court and outside in Bihar, the electoral roll revision. Let me quickly introduce our editors to our viewers this evening. Consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai in our brand new set. Also Rajdeep today is joining us.
With the smell of fresh paint.
With the smell of fresh paint. Nothing smells better than fresh paint, does it? Then we have Gaurav Sawant, Pooja Shali, our guest Anjana Om Kashyap from Aaj Tak. We have Anisha who follows the court. We have Siddharth Zarabi from Business Today. Before we move on to anybody else, because there's been a hearing in court today, and Anisha, would you want to weigh in on, because this matter, multiple petitions challenged in the top court of the country?
Well, let's look at the specifics of the objections that have been raised. A lot of questions are being asked about why people have a problem with this entire electoral roll revision. Constitutionally, legally, and on practically, so to speak. First of all, the issues that are being raised by the petitioners and by the court are with regard to whether the EC can look into citizenship at all. The question is, yes, the EC does have the power to conduct regular roll revisions, but when it comes to questioning citizenship, can it go to that extent? Secondly, when the roll revision is being done, when the EC is saying we are conducting an electoral roll revision, can you then say that we will create a system where people will be disenfranchised unless they can provide proof that they are citizens? Can you therefore violate the entire principle of innocent until proven guilty and say that, well, unless you have the documents, you are disenfranchised? The rule under the RP Act specifically is that to disenfranchise someone, to cut somebody's name from the electoral rolls, you have to bring in the objection, you have to prove that XYZ person is not a valid citizen or has some other disqualification. That is where the constitutional and legal issue comes in. On process and practicality, the contentions that are being raised is the timeline, that when you have this entire exercise, can you then in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days allow enough time for objections to come, for verification to come in, and for the redressal? And that is where the Supreme Court has also asked questions. If you disqualify someone, can you then give them time for redressal by the time the Bihar elections come in?
So there's no stay, Anisha.
There's
right
no stay.
now. When's the next hearing?
28th of July, and the Supreme Court has asked the EC to answer all of these questions. Procedure, timeline, can you delink it from the Bihar elections? Can you do the SIR exercise as a separate exercise? Forget about Bihar elections, do the electoral vote revision, because that is something that is necessary. But delink it, and also what documents are you asking for? Can you say that we will accept ABC documents but not accept other documents,
so
which
a lot
by the way
was said
are in the RP Act itself.
Right. So a lot was said in court today, but the exercise hasn't been stayed. It continues, correct?
That is there, but on the 28th, after the ECI files its response, then we will see what happens next. Because, see, court is very clear. EC has the power to do this exercise. They will not stop this exercise. They will, however, adjudge the contours and validity and legality of this exercise. Nobody is stopping the SIR. Please be very clear on that.
Right. So nobody is stopping it, but there are questions on legality, morality as well. But before we get into a heated debate, because I'm going to put my money on it, it's going to get down to that. I want to give the opportunity to Anjana. Because I'll tell you why I'm giving you the opportunity.
You guys are regulars. Why don't you go ahead?
I'll tell you why. Because I'll tell you why you're a special guest. Because Anjana hails from Bihar. So one of the reasons we've invited her in is because this exercise is taking place. Why are you shaking your head, sir?
Like he wants to go in Gujarat, Goa, Maharashtra, all three
first.
debates because he has.
Now he'll claim Bihar also.
No, please go ahead, please.
No, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
He's a gentleman.
Please go ahead.
Come on.
Okay, the reason we are giving her the opportunity is because she's our guest, and number one. Number two, you hail from Bihar. And this entire exercise is taking place in Bihar. How are the regular Biharis looking at it?
I think it's a classic case of kagaz nahi dikhayenge, number one. Number two, roll revision is a regular thing that has been done by the Election Commission in this country forever and ever. But when it comes to, like, I have a very basic question for people who are talking about Aadhaar card. We talk about Article 326, save the constitution of this country. The constitution says in Article 326 that only a citizen of this country can vote. And what does the Aadhaar card say? It says, I am not proof of the citizenship of this country. But we want to use the Aadhaar card for voting. See the contradiction there. And this is a big statement on all the people who claim they want to save the constitution but don't understand that 326 is saying ki sahab, are you a citizen of this country? Aadhaar says I'm not proving that you're a citizen. But they want the Aadhaar to prove that you can vote.
Okay.
So the biggest contradiction for all the constitution savers of this world lies there. So Biharis are looking at it like that, especially me. Now you come to
and Biharis are participating very actively, 57% already, and there are still 16 days to go.
The data has to come in for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by yesterday 7, it was 57 to 58%. Now come to Seemanchal, this Aadhaar card saturation that is being talked about. The Aadhaar card saturation, matlab, for every 100 people who live, how many people have Aadhaar card?
Okay.
For the whole of Bihar, the saturation is 94%. Okay?
But for Seemanchal,
Cut to Seemanchal. Four districts there. Kishanganj, Araria, Katiyar, and one more, which is Purnia. Purnia, from where Pappu Yadav won. The saturation is above 120. The maximum is in 68% Muslim population. Aadhaar card is 126% saturation. Now, the one big flaw is that now the saturation, and not just for Bihar, even in Delhi, it's 133%. This is a huge racket that we have to somehow crack.
You're saying it needs to happen. So net it should happen.
And it should happen countrywide.
Okay, but just two questions.
This is a pilot project.
One election.
This is
do stop this.
Okay, before I go,
saturation.
I'll go to Rajdeep, but just two questions on that, Anjana, because over 39 lakh voters were added on the basis of the same Aadhaar that you're speaking of in Maharashtra. So question mark on that. Number two, you're talking about 126% saturation of Aadhaar. Census hasn't happened. So how do we know there's saturation?
No, but
where is this figure coming
from? They're extrapolating from the
Who's
current population.
extrapolating?
But that's
Who's
how you do all your
extrapolating?
data.
No,
That's how you do
if there
all
is no
your
census,
readings.
how do you extrapolate? And if we've added 39 lakh voters on the basis of
And
Aadhaar
also one more argument in the court.
Maharashtra.
One more argument in the court. Wait.
Let me quickly go around. Yeah.
Sorry, if I may interject one tiny question for Anjana. When you're talking about speculative saturation without a census, the question, the issue is how can you disenfranchise voters? How can you chuck
Where is the
data
data coming
anyone been
without data?
disenfranchised?
Okay, where's the
Are
data?
you jumping the gun on
nobody
this?
is. Nobody is.
2003,
No,
30
okay,
days.
seriously.
The whole role, let
I mean, seriously.
No, but it was done.
हिंदी में पुरानी कहावत है, चोर की दाढ़ी में तिनका.
कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे.
कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे.
But where
कार्रवाई
is-
हुई नहीं.
but where is
कार्रवाई
this data
हुई नहीं
coming from?
और disenfranchise
But where is this data? Where is this data coming
ये
from?
डराना,
Okay,
ये
one
जो
by one.
डराना धमकाना अभी से शुरू
Okay,
कर दिया
one
ना,
by one.
डरा दिया.
All right, Rajdeep.
on our
Okay.
website.
Okay.
You and
That is why 28
Rajdeep, go ahead. Okay, one second. Anisha, allow Rajdeep to come in. Go ahead, make your point.
I wish those who spoke just now had even half an idea of the law of this country. I'm very sorry to say this. This is a law and practicality. Sitting in a nice little
law
studio,
and practicality.
nice new painted studio in Noida is very different from Seemanchal or any part of Bihar. Please understand. And let me give you the reason. First of all, I was surprised even Anisha did not raise a basic point. Very, very basic point, which is between June 2024 and January 2025, the Bihar state election machinery completed a revision of the electoral rolls called the Special Summary Revision 2025.
So?
Full revision with additions, deletions, et al.
Right.
Please tell me. And the Election Commission owes an explanation to this country. Not through press releases, but through a proper press conference. What changed in 5 months between January 2025 and June 2025 for you to suddenly decide that we are going in for a special intensive revision? After a press release a month ago mentioned specifically Aadhaar, now you bring in, not only do you bring in a special intensive revision, which in 2002-03 took 1 year, say we are going to do it in 3 months, decide to do it in the monsoon months of Bihar. After you have completed, please let me be clear, after you have completed a complete exercise including additions and deletions, which was an ongoing exercise, and you bring in a list of 11 restrictive documents which you will say are necessary for anyone
These
who
are
wants to be
indicative.
1 minute.
These are
These
indicative.
words are not indicative and all. When you go down, this is the problem between those who sit in Noida and those who need to be out on the street. The fact is, it's a classic example of state
Where is
overreach.
this coming from?
Of 1 minute.
Where is this coming from?
No, no,
We
no,
are
no,
going to
you must
we are
allow me
going
to
to
complete.
ground to cover
No, no,
elections.
it
Where
must
is
be
this
a-
coming
it
from?
must- no, no, it
no,
must-
no,
I
we are
will
not
say-
here to listen to
No, no, these
all,
are-
all
madam-
these things. No, no,
madam,
sir.
these are
No, please.
constitutional,
Mind your
practical.
language. Don't
No,
Let's
no.
go one by one.
Don't
There's
talk
no
in a
point in
either-
delegating
either-
manner.
either-
We are
I'll come
reporters
back.
who are out on the
saying-
streets.
No, no,
Okay,
I
I'll
said-
circle back.
Studio
I'll circle
banter.
back. I'll circle
Please
back.
talk.
No, no,
Make
1
it-
minute.
Make
The
your
fact
point,
is-
but don't make this
the fact
banter
is-
about studio and ground. zero.
June to January
Right.
for 6 months. No, you must listen
I am
completely.
listening, I'm
because
listening.
this is a serious issue. It cannot be done through
We have
shouting.
1 hour.
Okay.
Everyone can have their
minute.
say.
Okay.
Make your
Are we
point.
to presume that the earlier rules that you put in place, right, were in some way fraudulent or some way flawed? Please understand. You have set a cutoff date of 2003. Since 2003, Bihar has had 5 state elections and 5 general elections, right, through a particular roll process. You have now said that those who were not on the register as of 2003 subsequently
Right.
have to supply one of 11 documents. Every empirical evidence, not done by me, but done by scholars, shows that several people in Bihar do not possess these documents. When I say that the difference between Noida and the ground is simply this, it's not about reporters, it's about the reality on the ground versus being in the studio. Bihar has a large mobile migrant population. Bihar has a large rural poor population. You are going to subject them to a typical bureaucratic exercise of state overreach
Right.
in 3 months. An exercise which nationally took 1 year in
Okay.
2002-3. No, please, you must listen to these.
Listen.
These are all very serious points. This is not, therefore, as I told Anisha, constitutionality, we can dispute whether Article 326 allows the EC complete control over an election
Okay.
is one matter. However, any power cannot be subject to abuse of it. One.
That is why you have
Number
to
two,
point.
one,
Make
number
me
two.
have a point to make.
Number two, number two, a fundamental-
We have 1 hour.
no.
Okay, I just want to tell all our fans.
No, I know
Fundamental
only because I'm a Bihari, this
No,
extra
no,
pity is
fundamental-
showing to
no,
Bihar
no,
is not
it has
done.
nothing to do with
Seriously.
Bihar. It
It's
has-
66 silly, yeah. It's 66% now. This,
Man,
this
no, no, 1
poor
minute.
one
Even
second
if
extra
even
pity
if 1
is showing to
crore, let
Bihar.
me be
It's
very
not
clear.
fair.
Make your
Even if
point.
1%,
that's the language
it's
you've
not
got.
even
1
1
second,
crore
allow
of a-
everyone to
Ma'am,
have their
I will
say.
leave
We have-
now because I will tell you
You
one.
don't need
No,
to
I do
leave.
not.
Please
On,
say.
on this issue, I take it very seriously. This
So
is
make your point.
So it is not about personal. It is constitutional. Please understand.
Make your
If you
point.
create a situation where those
Right.
before 2003 are subject to different rules to those after 2003, after
Right.
it violates a fundamental principle of our constitution of equality of citizenship. I
Fair
cannot
point.
tell those after 2003 you will supply one of 11 list of documentary evidence, but if you were
Okay.
already on the electoral rolls before 2003, all is okay. And
point.
to the point that my friend Mr. Gaurav Sawant made, 58%, 66%, it can be even 98%. But if even 2% of eligible Indian
point.
citizens are denied the right to
Have
vote,
they been denied?
no, it
Have
is not.
they been denied?
The system itself, I am at the moment, because you used a number. My limited point is, Gaurav, the fact is there are constitutional questions of equality involved here, and there are practical questions involved
Let me
of
go
the
to God.
manner in
Let
which
me go to
EC
God.
has done it.
Let me go to
So
God.
let's please take it seriously
We have enough
and not
time.
personalize.
Can I
If it is
Rajdeep, you've
personalized, I will
spoken.
walk out.
You don't know. Okay, nobody's 1 second.
No, I will
Let
walk
me.
out.
Let me. Allow
No,
no
sir.
1 second, Anisha.
I've
Here,
been
1
a-
No,
second.
people who do not understand.
Anisha, hold your
people who do not understand.
I have studied the law through all my life. I am not
Rajdeep.
going to be subject to all of this.
Water.
Sorry.
Water.
No,
Take
no,
a
not
sip of water.
Bye.
And stay right here. Why are you going? There is no personalized thing. Okay, I'm holding on to his chair. 1 second.
In fact, if anybody
Let me
made
go
it
one by
personalized,
one.
it was him.
Okay.
Let me
Can
go
I-
one by one.
Yeah.
Allow me to.
Siddharth
Mr.
wants
Siddharth, would you
to
want
go.
your first
No,
say?
on a very limited point.
Make your point.
Since Rajdeep made this point very passionately, and I will say this equally with passion, but very calmly, that will be my attempt. Rajdeep, in 1990, close to 500,000 people had to leave Kashmir Valley. And if my memory serves me right, for several election cycles, which didn't happen in J&K, by the way, due to the troubled situation, they moved within the same state. From 7 districts to other districts, they were denied their electoral franchise. Did any of you raise this point then? No, I am asking questions.
Classic, what
With,
about
no, you can use any terms. It's not whataboutery.
Yeah, maybe
I
the next
am
point
countering
is-
to that passionate fundamental point, which I agree with you. No one should be denied their right to cast their vote. But there are always two sides to the coin. And since you are such a cricket fan, even at a toss on the field, there is heads and tails. This was just to show you a mirror on that argument. The second point, adding to the debate, hopefully in a qualitative manner, Article 326 go down just 3 articles to 329, which is the role of the court and what the Constitution says about its ability to interfere in the electoral process. Delimitation, the conduct of polls, the entire process in the run-up, during the polls, and after that is very clearly defined and laid out. And therefore, in today's arguments at the court and the observations, which I think are still observations, Anisha can correct me, and what may happen on the 28th, the court has told all the petitioners and the defendants that my powers to interfere with what the Election Commission of India can do are limited by that very same constitution.
And that was
Okay,
what
right, let's-
that is
let's-
exactly what I said.
Let's everybody have their say and then we'll circle right back. Gaurav, would you want to go next?
I mean, my simple point is we began with the objections. Let's begin with the aim. Why is this exercise happening in the first place? And this exercise is happening in the first place so that you have pure electoral rolls. Aim 1. Would you or would you not
So
want
what
pure...
was happening between June
Allow.
and no, 1 minute. What was happening
Allow
between
me-
June?
allow me to just
No.
complete
You
my
must
point.
not mislead audiences. What was happening between June?
By seeking a pure electoral process, you're misleading the audience.
No, because I'm asking you a simple question.
no,
Please
no,
answer it.
first let me make my
between
point.
June 2024
You're not letting me
and
make
no,
my
I
point.
won't let you because
You
you're
will not
misleading
let me-
audiences by saying
By
it's about
saying that it's a
purification.
pure electoral
It is
process,
not.
it's
So I am
misleading.
asking you
But I am
what
sorry.
happened between June 2024 and January 2025. That was
Allow.
impure.
Allow.
No, that was impure.
अब सर मैं
No, please answer. Be answer it sensibly.
Okay,
No, but
allow him to-
I will not say I'm getting up and going away because I will stay and argue my
Okay,
point.
make your
and
point.
Because
legally.
your knowledge is limited.
Make your point.
The
Make your
question
point.
सर
Yes,
फाउंटेन
let's-
हेड तो ऑफ नॉलेज तो आप ही हैं
On this issue, yes. On this issue, I am. Yes.
लेकिन
Okay,
This is not India, Pakistan. This is a
temper down.
serious issue.
Everyone
So-
just temper down a
अच्छा
notch. Go
so
ahead,
this
make your
is
point.
serious. India Pakistan is not
No,
serious.
your India,
Really?
Pakistan, you make it to your usual shouting
I
match.
am
This is
not.
not
Okay,
that.
one,
I am
serious-
Please answer simple questions.
I'm making
Make
a
your
point.
point.
You
Allow him
make
to
a
make
point.
his point.
Permit
Allow
me
him
to
to
make a
make
point.
it.
Please
Let
allow.
our
Make it,
audience
make it.
decide. No,
Okay, please decide.
Allow-
Please
allow-
answer me.
allow.
Rajdeep Sardesai is not Supreme Court
Please
of India.
answer. Please answer me.
No, let's make it very clear.
If
You
I
are
may
not Supreme Court of
interject, the
India.
Supreme Court
Yes.
of India
Yeah,
asked
but
exactly
I
the
don't want
question
bad
that
lawyers.
Rajdeep
Okay,
has.
one second.
May I
Okay, one second. Okay, time out. Time out. Enough. Enough.
Court decide करेगा.
Anisha,
Hold on.
1 second.
Supreme Court asked the exact same question that Rajdeep has.
Excellent.
कि
Excellent.
January वाला जो role है,
Okay.
उसका क्या हुआ and why aren't you using that?
1 second.
He
Can
has
he?
to answer
All right.
that
Why
question
are
on the
all of you
20th.
Guys,
so-
cut 1 second.
Why can't
Allow
I
him to
make
have
one
his
point?
Yeah, allow him to speak. What's the problem?
Because he's obviously not
Allow him to
understood it.
speak. Doesn't matter. How
Sir,
does it
Sarah
matter?
understanding
Allow
to
him to
ask
have
you
his
fair
say.
enough.
1 second. 1 second. I'm not understanding.
chalo.
What's this point? Make your point.
Point 1. Had it been illegal, Supreme Court would have stayed it. They have not. Had it been illegal, it's a pure electoral process. They're saying they want pure electoral rolls. That is why they're going ahead with it. They have asked people to participate. 66% people are participating. They are
You don't
submitting.
have an opt-out.
Allow. Anisha, allow somebody to have their say. Make
Why-
your point.
Are you so weak in your argument that you wouldn't let the other person complete his point?
Make your point. Make your point. Come on. Let's everybody 1 second. Everyone refrain from personal commentary. Let's try and do that. We're all colleagues.
No, just let.
Make your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, pure electoral rolls is what is being sought. Whether it happens or not, it's for courts of law to decide. If there is any illegality involved, there are courts of law to decide. And that's exactly what the Election Commission also said. Let us get this exercise completed. Then your lordships can decide if that entire process is okay or not. We will bring it to you. If there is anything illegal in it, anything that is not correct in it, there are courts of law in this country that will decide. Point 2. Point 3. This is a process that's happening here after 22 long years. 22 long years is what the Election Commission has told the Supreme Court. If they're wrong, the Supreme Court will then decide.
It happened in 2003 in 31 days.
Yes. Okay. Special intensive revision is happening after 22 long years. It will remove duplicate entries. You were talking about people migrating, rural people, garib log hain, migrate kar rahe honge. There are people who are there in two different places. They have votes in two different places. Should they be removed from two different places or not? It's a legal process. They are cross-checking. So that one person.
So what happened between June and January of 24-25? You're not
That
answering
will
the
be
central
explained
question.
in a
It has
court
not
of
been
law.
explained. It should have been prima facie ab initio. You are starting what in law is called a pro novo exercise. It's a fresh exercise, which means the Election Commission should have the courage to say that your earlier roles that you put in were fraudulent and flawed.
So
are you willing to say that?
Rajdeep
You hold
Sardesai-
election in my home
Rajdeep
state of
Sardesai finds it
Maharashtra.
illegal.
with-
The
you
Supreme
hold-
Court did not.
Supreme Court
said,
please do not use the
no
Supreme Court.
reason to
It's an
doubt.
observation.
Did the
It's
Supreme
a-
Court say or not say? No reason to doubt. Let's test their credentials. That's what the court have said. You may not have faith in the Election
if
Commission
you're
of
looking at
India.
observations, Gaurav, the court has also said, I seriously doubt the process.
No,
Number one, I might also
Election
not have the
Commission have
documents you're
said
asking
no
for.
intention to deny any voter his vote. Election Commission has submitted in Supreme Court. I'm only going by
fair point,
documents and arguments that have taken place in Supreme Court based on facts, because I don't weigh in either side on this. I don't have an agenda to peddle here. Ye galat hai ya ye
But
sahi
okay, Gaurav,
hai.
let me ask you a question before I
I'm
go to
just
Pooja.
stating facts that have been
Can
said.
I
Let me
also
ask you a
1 minute
question.
before
You start running down everybody else. I am sorry.
Tell the court, you must tell audiences what the court said. This cannot be done in this manner.
The Election
reality
Commission-
check, 1 minute, sir. Reality check. Supreme Court said, if you are to check citizenship under Sir of electoral rolls in Bihar, then you should have acted early. It is a bit late. Purging non-citizens from the electoral rolls is the prerogative of the Home Ministry, not the Election Commission. You cannot change the laws based on, you can decide on eligibility, you cannot decide citizenship. The documents that are being asked for are effectively deciding citizenship, and the principle of
Should a
equality is violated.
non-citizen be allowed to
Sir,
vote?
sir, just a
Rajdeep,
minute.
should a non-citizen
Sir,
be
all
allowed
these years,
to vote?
what has happened? Please
one
understand.
second,
Are you aware that there are elections that have taken place, Mr. Siddharth Zarabi, from 1952 in this country till 2025? Elections did not start now
Let's
in
have others
2025.
also.
Are you telling me, therefore, that elections took
One
place
second.
with non-citizens voting? Please say that.
Should we allow that in 2025?
Of course.
No, one second.
No,
No,
1
it's
minute.
a-
Are you saying that the earlier elections had non-citizens
I'm not
voting?
saying that. I'm
Then
asking you,
in my home
should we
state of
allow
Maharashtra-
non-citizens?
Okay,
No,
one
it's not
second.
that.
No, I'll just
That's
get the
for the
question.
Home
One
Ministry to
second.
decide, not the
All right,
Election
before,
Commission.
allow me to go to Pooja. Before I go to Pooja, Gaurav, because you gave out details, I just want to ask you one basic question. 6 months ago, there was an election in the state of Maharashtra. Over 39 lakh voters were added on the basis of Form 6, which is in the Election Commission of India website. The Form 6 asks you for 3 things: to be an adult, to be a resident of preferably of the same constituency, and citizenship, which it doesn't require any document. You need only one document to register as a new voter in this country, and that is Aadhaar. So on the basis of, hear me out, on the basis of that, if you've added 39 lakh voters in Maharashtra, which is again being contended on the basis of Aadhaar, why should somebody from Bihar be made to furbish proof of citizenship where no other state till now has been asked?
There is a pilot project. Again, if you go into details, there is a pilot project that is underway. If this works, it will be undertaken across the country. As Siddharth Zarabi rightly said, do you want non-citizens to be voting in your country? As Anjana
is it
Om
fair?
Kashyap very rightly said, your Aadhaar card, as she showed you documents, is not proof of citizenship.
Okay.
There is an
However, allow me to get in
There is
Pooja,
an
then I'll come
exercise
back.
that is currently being undertaken.
Pooja.
If that
In the
exercise is
quietest
in
of
real,
Allow me to bring in
then
Pooja.
the Supreme Court, I have my faith in the majesty
Okay.
of the Supreme Court to be able to decide
Okay.
whether that exercise is illegal, arbitrary or wrong.
Okay, Gaurav, now pass it on to Pooja. Go ahead, Pooja, make your
Two quick
point.
points here. If my research is correct, because this SR was done in 2003, in 31 days, it happened without technology at that point. 4 crore voters. No new documents will be asked from them who have voted in 2003.
Yes.
It is for the ones who are possibly born after 2003, will vote after 2003. And what documents do they have to submit? Establish their birth date and that of their parents.
Hence the
And-
distinction between 2003 and
2020.
post-2003.
And so I don't understand how that is going to be a huge problem, because these are basic documents that you would expect from a citizen of this country. 2, let's talk direct now. Why is the focus possibly in Bihar? It's a border state. It borders Nepal. What is the biggest concern in the past few years with Bihar is that there's been infiltration. There's been settlement of illegal immigrants, specifically Bangladeshi and Rohingya. MHA itself had said in 2019 that there were about 10 lakh illegal immigrants in Bihar. Recently, one Bangladeshi citizen was arrested from Indo-Nepal border trying to cross into Bihar. These are serious concerns. I would definitely want not one of them to vote in Bihar elections. And I understand it's a complicated process. I understand the whole Aadhaar, which document to show. But why shouldn't this exercise be carried out when you're deciding your country and state's next leader? Absolutely.
One argument could be that the rest of the states have never been asked to do so.
So let's
how
start
do you
with
how do you
Bihar.
how do
Let's
you make
start
a
with
state?
Bihar.
One sec, okay,
Let's start with Bihar.
how does it start with Bihar? Why?
Because
then you
it
do
is
it
a border
unilaterally.
state. Because
Then
it
you
is a
hold this
border state.
exercise across the country.
It will be,
One
like
second.
I said, it's a pilot
Anisha,
project.
you can't make
starting
the
with Bihar.
question-
If it's successful,
an
it goes-
election cannot be
question
subject to a
is
pilot
not-
project.
May I just once
Make your
again
point.
make this
We go back the full
repeat the
circle.
point I made in my beginning remarks. Court is saying तुम्हें SIR करने से कोई नहीं रोक रहा. ECI has the authority to do so. The question is about timing. The question is about procedure. The question is about the
What is
documentation.
the role of the ECI? The role of the ECI is to weed out illegal, ineligible names, to have people who are on your...
But
who are
that
voting,
is
including,
exactly the
including
question.
people in Bihar, including Indians. If
But
they have
the
duplicate-
point is
if they have duplicate
Anisha,
entries,
so-called
they need to be-
illegals that we've
Anisha,
arrested in the
Anisha,
last several months.
small
That's why
question to
we've
you.
reported on this that
Anisha,
people are getting fake Aadhaar, people are getting fake
Allow
birth
me a
certificates.
rebuttal. Allow me a rebuttal. I have been a voter in Delhi now for many election cycles. And as far as I know, before every election, a few months before that, give or take, even my forms you have to resubmit, I have got knocked out. So it is practice before every election cycle
To
for
conduct a summary revision, sir. वही तो बात है. Summary revision has been
Of
done.
only one,
No,
of
but-
only a certain section. I don't think it
But
is
if-
across
if-
Bihar for
No,
everyone.
it was done.
Summary
It was
revision.
done.
are we
It was done.
are we equating Maharashtra and Bihar at the same when it comes to cross-border infiltration?
I'm
My
not
point.
talking
My
about
Are we
infiltration.
refusing to
I'm
acknowledge that there are
talking
four
about pure
districts?
legal.
The point that Anjana made, are we refusing to acknowledge ground level reality that there are 4 districts, including 2 of those 4, where there are documented evidence, there are intelligence reports of massive infiltration? Is that not a problem in Punjab bordering districts? It is not in the case of Kashmir because of a mountainous border. How can you equate
this a-
You
Maharashtra and
start
Bihar?
in SIR in Punjab then. The question is not about why you're doing the
who
SIR. The
decides that?
question is
Maybe
whether
they
your
decide that-
timeline for an SIR,
No.
whether
Can I
your
flip this
timeline for
argument?
revision
Okay,
is
wait.
proper or not.
Wait,
That is
wait.
exactly
Why
the
should
question in the
why
law.
should the revision, special or summary or extraordinary, the powers of the ECI are very wide-ranging in this regard. Why should it not happen closer to the date? Why should it happen 2 years before?
Because you need the
if you are
time for
questioning the
verification.
timeline,
You
Very
need
well
the
said,
time.
Siddharth. Very well
You
said.
need the time for verification.
Very
You
well
need
said,
the time for
Siddharth.
appeal.
The list will get corrupted
Time for
later.
redressal.
Time
You
for-
need
Time for redressal.
But 66%, where is the redressal
Very well
issue left?
66% documents have been submitted.
Which
Redressal
is
happens
great.
after 100%.
which is what
And-
Rajdeep
and
said.
still after
हम लोग यहाँ पे
100%.
ड्राइंग रूम में बात
Redressal
कर
is
रहे हैं
different.
ग्राउंड लेवल पे people are happy participate.
People don't
There's a
have
larger
options.
question.
How do you know
There's
that?
a larger question.
How do you
The
know
same
people are
Supreme
happy?
Court,
Siddharth,
how do you
the
know
same
people-
Supreme
you
Court
will take
destroyed the
action.
Aadhaar in its original concept, right? Today, the same Supreme Court, without casting any aspersions on the learned judges, are now saying, no, Aadhaar is there. Then
Because
I
the
ask my
government has
lords,
pushed Aadhaar.
why did you come in the way, my lords, of the Aadhaar becoming the equivalent of a national identity and preventing
Yes.
Because
ordinary
you
Indians
cannot
to carry
force
12
somebody to
IDs.
give
I am fed up of 12 IDs.
It's your
Very good
option.
point.
I am
Very
fed
well
up
said,
of 12
Siddharth.
IDs. I don't want 12 IDs.
was this?
The same Supreme Court destroyed the Aadhaar.
All right.
Because
No,
you
that's
have
a
to
different
be able to
argument. No,
opt out.
Siddharth, that's
It's
a
a
different
matter of
argument.
convenience.
Very
जो
well
मुझे
said.
पसंद नहीं मैं आर्गुमेंट देता
Very
हूँ.
well said. और
That's a
कागज
that's a
नहीं
different
दिखाया।
argument.
पासपोर्ट
Okay.
के लिए तो देना पड़ता है ना बायोमेट्रिक
One second,
अमेरिकन
okay.
वीजा के लिए तो देना पड़ता है ना
Anjana,
बायोमेट्रिक
allow
Facebook, YouTube पे सब दे देंगे.
allow
Facebook, YouTube पे सब दे देंगे.
Allow Anjana to come in.
option
Okay,
है, आपके
Anisha,
पास
allow
option है,
Anjana
आप नहीं जाओ
necessary.
उधर.
Only if necessary. I'm okay
Come in,
with you
come in,
guys
come in.
fighting.
Make your point, make your
I'm loving it.
Make your point. You were quite vociferous earlier. Make your point.
Yeah, I made my points. I mean, I'm very clear on this that everybody's saying, why are you doing it now? What's the urgency? It's that, again, the role can get corrupted again if you do it like midway. And if they're saying, if they're claiming in 2003, without any digital platforms, they could do it in 31 days. Why are you believing? I mean, we are fighting and screaming over something that is, now what will happen if voters are disabled? Let it happen. If they do it, like you saw what happened in Assam. There was ruckus. Listen, and this is a pilot. After this, it's happening in Assam. And if you see the list of documents that are being asked for, NRC is included in it. That is for Assam. That is not for Bihar. So it's going in a certain way.
Rajdeep's watching Wimbledon.
I'm quite fond of tennis. But listen, I think at the end
This
of
is
the
a
day,
very serious
no,
issue.
I think
We're talking about
yeah.
electoral roll and you're watching.
it's good that he's calming down. It's very good.
Because I'm stunned by the arguments which are based basically effectively claiming that the election commission should do what the election commission was never mandated to do.
Not mandated to clean
No, 1
electoral
minute.
rolls.
That is very different. Please understand, there is a difference which they cleaning up of electoral rolls was done in Bihar when you call a summary revision, and I use the words very deliberately, for 6 months between June and January. That was precisely what you did. What the election commission is not answering, because that is where the real story lies, is that what has changed between January and June.
Are you
1
alleging
minute.
a conspiracy? You're alleging a
I am
conspiracy.
asking a question.
Whose conspiracy is this?
1 second.
You're constantly saying "Kyun kar rahe?" Fir my point is,
I am
what do you
certain.
think?
Rajdeep.
I believe that when you go in for a special intensive revision, you have to give very special reasons for doing so.
Maybe
Till
they have
today,
reasons,
they have
Rajdeep.
not done so.
Maybe there is a
This
organized
opaqueness,
attempt
sir,
underway
you must
to
allow me.
influence the Bihar election.
Now you must allow me to
Maybe
speak.
there is an attempt.
Mr.
Maybe
Zarabi,
there is extra
Mr.
agent
Zarabi,
there.
now
Who
you
knows?
must allow. You've asked me a question. I'll reply. The fact of the matter is, the Election Commission is expected to do a special intensive revision when they are able to provide solid and cogent reasons as to what was the urgency to do it 5 months before a Bihar election, after you have completed a summary revision of that state. It cannot be that one state is a border state and another state is different. Every Indian is equal in every Indian state. Please understand that.
Indian is equal.
Every
Which
Indian,
Indian?
every Indian,
Indian.
every Indian from
That's
every
the
state
point.
has
Indian.
equality.
Bangladeshis are
That's
not
right.
Bangladeshis
Please,
are
there
not
are other
Indians.
ways. There are
not Indians.
There are no other ways.
you have
Show
a
your
complete
kagas.
you have
Kagas
complete
dikhao.
you have agencies which are run by the Home Ministry of this country, whose primary job is to ensure that illegal immigration is stopped, right? If you are claiming that illegal immigration has taken over the Home Ministry, as the Supreme Court said, it's their responsibility. The Election Commission,
Rajdeep,
sir, very
66%.
simple. Election Commission since 1952 has been conducting exercises. 5 elections in Bihar itself have taken place.
But national security challenge
the
now
election,
is higher.
the election,
Let's
security
make your point.
challenge
Make
is
your point,
higher.
Rajdeep. I'll go to Siddharth.
either
Let
the
him make
Election
his point on
Commission
something.
comes up with clear reasons without the opacity, without having a single press conference, without having consultations with stakeholders, with having a press release a month ago which spoke of Aadhaar. Please understand this. The same Election Commission's press release, go and read it, a month ago spoke of Aadhaar and the need possibly of linking Aadhaar to voter identities. Now suddenly you've come up with 11 documents, 5 of which, as the Hindus Vijeta Singh has pointed out, does not even have place of birth or date of birth on it.
Okay, allow
You are
Siddharth to
creating therefore a situation where millions are running in a bureaucratic exercise madly. When I said Noida and say a Simanchal, it's simply this. You and I have access to documents. There are people out there who don't. You are expecting them in the middle of floods in Kosi to be running around. Please see the practicality on your own channels of the difficulties people are facing. That is not what the Election Commission was meant for. It was meant to ensure that people got the right to vote, not that people get
Let me go to
disenfranchised.
Siddharth, but
You are
Rajdeep,
reverting their
but
purpose.
Rajdeep, you
Two
speak
points that
of-
Rajdeep has raised, especially on the issue of infiltration, and it's the job of some other agency to ensure that infiltration does not take place, as you said. I completely agree. It's the job of the Ministry of Home Affairs to ensure our borders are safe. Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Defense. The same Home Minister has been crying in the state of West Bengal that I'm not getting land. A lot of infiltration is taking place from the state of West Bengal. Illegal Bangladeshis are
has
coming
complete
in.
powers.
He does not
The
have
BSF has powers.
He's had 7 meetings. He's his chief secretary with the home secretary, with the chief secretary. They are not getting border outposts. They cannot build, they cannot protect, and infiltration is taking place. So, sir, there are practical problems. When you go down on ground, you will realize there are practical problems
But
that
Rajdeep,
people face
Preeti, I
on
want to
ground.
follow
So
your
by
dictum.
that standard, the fact that there are hundreds and thousands of illegal immigrants, we've seen cases coming up, we've reported on stories coming up, who've managed to get Aadhaar cards, who've managed to get voter cards, who've managed to get ration cards, who've managed to get birth records, by the way. There are cases that we have reported where the so-called birth record in the village has been manipulated by the village pradhan because he was given money. Where do you draw the line then for verification? And the moment you create this question of verification and you don't give enough time for verification or redressal, how exactly do you...
You haven't given
how do
enough
you
time
show
is an
that X
assumption
is
and not a
illegal
fact.
and Y is not
Make your-
illegal?
okay, Anisha, allow him to come.
Preeti, just to sort of keep it light, Rajdeep, my friend.
Rajdeep gone back to his Wimbledon match.
That's fine.
No, I'm just going to read out a press release.
Yes, a small question, but allow me to
defending the
finish.
TMC.
But allow me
1
to
minute,
finish.
madam.
Allow.
1 minute. I don't want snide remarks. I will give a straight remark. No, you must. No, sir, you must. No, 1 minute. Mr. Zarabi, I just want
I want to engage in a healthy conversation.
I must first tell the audience this. The Election Commission of India has initiated discussions and technical consultations to explore the possibility of linking Aadhaar with electoral photo identity cards, EPIC, also known as voter IDs. So 1 minute you're doing that, and next minute you're going and saying, I don't need Aadhaar.
Can I answer that?
Sure. Yes, please.
Yes. So this is, if you've read SIR, as he claims he's read and he's the most knowledgeable on this, page number 16 of 19 pages, and adds this up, and Aadhaar number as an option has been added here. And it was only after this entire exercise was taken under that they realized that there is a lot of discrepancy, there is Aadhaar saturation in many areas, and that is why probably they've gone in this direction.
4 weeks later, ma'am.
You said this 5 weeks earlier, why did you then next morning get up and decide I should check someone's paper? This can't be an argument.
All right, but the Aadhaar saturation.
And even in this SIR,
is that right? But Aadhaar saturation.
Please zoom in and show it to
But it
people
was changed.
who probably read or not read.
No,
it.
1 minute.
But
It's no longer, that's not an answer. She's not giving me
No,
what
I've
changed
given
in
you
4
an
weeks.
answer. You to choose not to give me the
In
answer.
4 weeks, what has changed?
Okay. But Aadhaar saturation.
Two, three things. Two, three
Make
things.
your point.
Yeah, please make it light, Siddharth. I'm moving on.
So, whenever the latest test match has started, I wonder if the pitch is prepared 1 year in advance or maybe 2 days in advance. Point number one.
Good one.
And since Rajdeep is watching Wimbledon, when are the covers taken off, a year ago or just before the match? And when it rains, when do you bring on the covers? But
But is
substantial.
it only for a
what I
particular
keep
match? But
what
is it
I-
only for a particular match? Or whole matches?
Sir, he said
I did not
No,
interrupt
Ram must
anyone.
not make such stupid comments.
You can say
Inane.
whatever. I refuse to
What an inane
dignify
comment to
that
make.
with a response.
Don't do
Please
that.
don't.
Let's
Using
Yeah, let's not.
epithets and
Complete
strong
yourself.
words.
Let's not get into
No,
this.
you're making inane remarks. You're comparing removing covers in a tennis match to
Rajdeep,
elections.
you are watching
For
Wimbledon.
God's
I
sake.
am.
No, he can't
But
use
these are
that.
made I said he can't use that.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You're looking at him and telling him.
I did. I told him. Sit. Rajdeep, sit. Rajdeep, sit. So I think we.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
first
but
for,
I had the
This
point-
is the 1 second. Let me. This is the first for Democratic Newsroom where we've had a walkout. Rajdeep has walked out, though he says he has a show. But I think we're going to temper things
You
down.
should have
Now
known
let's
the
take
moment you
final.
invited him here, you should have known. You
no,
fought for
it's you'd be surprised, Ranjana. It's a regular feature. We were waiting for it to happen. If it's not you, it's between him and Gaurav. But let's temper down. We have about 8 minutes. Let's all keep our points of views. Make
I
your
just
point.
wanted to add one more point
Quickly,
to
yeah.
the cricket pitch and the Wimbledon court. And the point is, we must be very calmly assess which are those districts in India where there are serious issues, documented issues by
Okay.
multiple agencies, Preeti, of infiltration. That's
Okay.
point number one. Number two, we know that the Aadhaar, the way it was issued, and there is not enough time, and the different variations that happened due to various orders and executive decisions, the Aadhaar database today is not a foolproof database, despite biometrics. And go
Okay.
to Twitter and you'll see a lot of people questioning. And
But Twitter can't be the benchmark.
the very
Twitter
final
can't
point
be the
is just the
benchmark.
Ministry of Home Affairs.
10 seconds.
Is the Ministry of Home Affairs. Gaurav, 10 seconds.
Everyone will get to make their point. Make it 10 seconds, but quickly. Yeah.
Anjana's point, and because, it was said that we are sitting in an air-conditioned room, 66 people of the possible respondents have already complied.
Okay.
We should give their judgment and the power of the Indian voter, and every few years he teaches us all
Okay.
a lesson that he knows best.
Okay, fair point. So you've made your point.
I have a point.
Yeah, everyone will
Okay,
get it.
so my point here is you made a good point that Bihar, because it's a state of migration, there are several rural areas, and Rajdeep also said the same thing, that not everyone has documents. That is what has been misused in border states like Bihar, Bengal, even Punjab. That is where infiltration comes in, and you use the same argument to say, but you cannot check everyone's documents. But that's where this exercise needs to be carried out. One.
But the EC cannot check for citizenship.
That's right.
EC has
But-
no
but
mandate
EC
on checking
EC has
citizenship.
every right to check eligibility in documents.
What is
and
this?
And
They
then
are
go
just
ahead.
checking electoral rolls. You are extrapolating that it means that they are saying Bangladeshis.
You have to
are
prove
right.
citizenship.
Arey, what are they saying?
You have
Hold
to
on.
prove citizenship.
You only have to show.
You have to prove
show
citizenship.
No,
pure
eligibility to be
Yes.
on the
voter
voter
list.
voter list.
There is no citizen.
Therefore, by proving citizenship.
And I
How do you-
wonder
the
what is wrong
documents that
with
you
that.
are
I
being
still
asked are
wonder
the
what
ones
is
which prove
wrong with
citizenship.
that.
Okay, make your point. Make your point.
And
We're
second
running out
point,
of time.
importantly, objecting now that he's not here, Rajdeep, but all of us, I think most of us have reported from Bihar. I have extensively reported, and I can tell you, a Bihari is an intelligent voter. I'm pretty sure they know how to ensure to provide the right documents, to be on the voting roll, and to ensure they're able to wait. We're constantly judging, again, from a Noida Democratic Newsroom to think they can't do it. They don't have facilities. They don't have the opportunities.
Okay,
Maybe they do.
Quickly,
Let's go
quickly,
ahead.
everyone. I don't have the time.
So
and I
there
need
is
to
a
move on.
process that
It's
is
your show
currently
next.
there's a process that's currently underway, and I didn't run away from the debate.
Make your
My
point.
show next,
Yeah.
and yet I'm here.
Make your
The
point.
point is, this is addressing the many demographic changes that may have taken place in Bihar that hasn't been addressed already. The it's underreporting of deaths has been an issue that has been found out. This is the Election Commission stating on record that when they went through rolls, they found out there's been underreporting of deaths. Migration and urbanization are issues that haven't been addressed. How is this happening? They're eliminating eligible voters. There are 78,000 BLOs in the process. There are 20,000 additional BLOs. There are 100,000
Lakhs of
volunteers.
officials.
They're going door to door. The entire process is transparent.
All right, Anjana,
It
make
is
your
not
final
only being
points. I'm
given
going to close this
every
show.
political
I'm
party.
fine.
a question from a viewer to you.
Political party.
Quick,
Well,
It
tell
can
me,
also
tell me.
be
It
put
says-
online.
Gaurav, it says, somebody has just sent me this, in fact a colleague, is saying this is Form 6.
Yes.
Where is Aadhaar being made
For you,
mandatory?
Siddharth,
Why
I'm
is
telling you,
Preeti
that is
insisting
why
on
I'm
this?
not insisting on this. One second. She's asked me a question. He's asked me a
Preeti,
question.
in all fairness, just a
In all
question.
fairness, I'm answering. I'm allowed to answer that
Yeah,
question.
yes, of
Three
course.
things today. You want to be a voter? Form 6, tell him to look in three things. You need to be 18 years of age. For that, you have to provide your Aadhaar. I'm answering your whoever is messaged you, right? Number 2, you need to give proof of residence, preferably in the same constituency. What's your proof for that? Aadhaar. Number 3, you have to be allow me to finish. Number 3, you need to give proof of citizen. You don't need to give Aadhaar for that. So you don't need to prove no other document. On the basis of Aadhaar, for the earlier 2 tick boxes that you check, your proof is Aadhaar. Final.
Not only Aadhaar.
Aadhaar on Form 6, yes.
Birth certificate,
yes.
passport,
ABI.
matriculation.
driving license, everything.
If you give your Aadhaar, you are through. If you give your
But it
Aadhaar,
is not only Aadhaar.
It also says any other document.
but you can give your Aadhaar, just your Aadhaar as well will
But it
work.
is not mandatory is the
Arey
point.
bhai, nobody is saying it's mandatory, but just the Aadhaar works. Only Aadhaar, which is not the case in this. One
Birth
second.
certificate,
No, that is the
passport,
question that you
matriculation
said
certificate,
suggesting.
PP,
I am
permanent residence
suggesting-
certificate, SC,
No,
ST certificate,
What
forest rights certificate,
Arey,
family rights certificate,
you can
land.
keep rattling off, but
Because
hear me.
I've got facts.
It's
पढ़कर आते हैं.
Good.
But Gaurav, the fact is also, मैं भी पढ़कर ही आती हूँ, सिर्फ आधार रख दो, आधार के बिना पे आपको वोटर आईडी मिल जाएगा इस कंट्री में आज, सिर्फ आधार के आधार पर. Final point.
But he's not
Now
here.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
Like,
Make your
30
point.
seconds only. 30 seconds. I don't need more than that. Number 1, all these armchair journalists who sit in Noida studios in air condition and who look down upon other reporters who go out in the field and do like 30 days of continuous political ground reporting should stop judging people and take this high holy position, and they should try and understand if a country is trying to make its system more transparent, and if in bordering places in West Bengal or in Bihar or in Assam or these places there are people who are not citizens of India but still voting, they have to be weeded out, and any effort made towards that should be
Final comment.
understood.
Make.
Final comment, and at the risk of repeating myself, nobody is saying don't do an SIR. The question that is being raised is about process. As far as that entire emphasis on 60%, 66%, etc. is concerned, nobody has the right to opt out. आपके पास form आया, आपको भरना है. If you had the option to say मैं नहीं करता, then that question would be कि voter, what is the voter looking at? You cannot not fill that form. If you don't fill that form, you're not a voter. If you don't fill that form, you will be chucked out of the voter list. You will be said
It's
that
equal
you're not
to
allowed.
nota, doesn't matter.
Please allow.
It's equal to nota.
That is not a question that has been asked. How can you in a democracy say, I will chuck out people from the voter list without giving them the proper...
How do you allow nota? Why do you allow nota?
I am going to end this call. It's time to end this.
Nota lets me choose.
All right, okay,
Choice is what matters.
It is the time to file out of
But
this
yeah,
debate.
we're all pro-choice.
All right, everybody's pro-choice. Ultimately, there are two courts in this country. One where this matter is still being heard, and the other, which is the People's Court. The people will decide. Opinion is rife, as you can see. And we've had quite a bit of opinion coming through, but that's just opinion. We leave it at that. Thank you for joining us on the Democratic Newsroom.
Well done.